This video has been sponsored by EA and the Sims Creator Network. Did you know that there is a bunch of lore and stories hidden in the new world of Nordhaven, right in plain sight for you to see? Today, I'm going to show you all of the lore that I've been able to find in the new world. Starting with the World Select screen, Nordhaven is here on the bottom. Absolutely beautiful Nordic near mountains and rivers. Absolutely beautiful. I love the little animation here of the cat jumping in the baskets on the bike. This northern coastal city is known for its thriving independent local businesses and the enchanting beauty of its cold seasons. Take a walk through the historic views of Gammelvik with its cobbled streets, classic architecture, and picturesque canals, or hop on the train to Iverstad and explore how the locals are reinventing the industrial city center. Whether you seek to make your business flourish or just want to practice your hobbies with a cozy community, you'll always find an opportunity here. So going into Nordhaven, we have Iverstad and Gammelvik, and we can hover on the icons of each neighborhood. We'll start with Iverstad. It says, originally the industrial district of the city, Iverstad has recently turned into a natural settling spot for ambitious and stylish Sims. Many of its old factories have been repurposed as living spaces, and extensive terrains have recently been made available for new developments. Cross the bridge to the central island to check out its hobby meetups and meet the young community of this growing neighborhood. Maybe just steer clear of that one dark alley. They say a shady character hangs out there at night. Moving to Gammelvik, take a walk down the historic streets of Gammelvik and immerse yourself in the culture of Nordhaven's oldest district. Locals here like to take it slow, travel to work on their vintage bikes, and take long strolls by the old canals at night. Check out the central square for its hobby meetups and markets, or visit a lounge for a warm night of music. So if we move to manage households, and we go to other households, we filter by not in world and Nordhaven, and also take the neighborhood stories so that they actually show up. You'll see there's loads of households in The Sims, but a lot of these are from other packs. Let me just scroll down till we get to Nordhaven. And we've got quite a few different families here. We have Amri, who is currently not in world. It says, it finally happened. Armed with a guitar and rose-tinted optimism, Zane Amri found the courage to leave their family home and pursue their true passion, singing. Sure, most people don't make it far in the music industry, but what's the point if you don't even try? Zane is ready to grab life by the horns. So if we take a look at Zane Amri, they use they/them pronouns. They are a young adult with a feminine frame. They cannot get pregnant or get anyone else pregnant. They cannot produce milk, and they cannot use the toilet standing. They are romantically attracted to men and women and interested in woohoo with men and women, so they're pansexual. Their romantic boundaries, they do not experience jealousy if a romantic partner engages in non-physical romance with other Sims. They do not get jealous if a romantic partner engages in physical romance, excluding woohoo with other Sims. They do get jealous if their partner has woohoo with other Sims, and their jealousy triggers can change. Zane is a musical genius. They want to be an expert musician and songwriter. They are a music lover and materialistic, and they like, violin, discussing interests, optimistic Sims, tattooing, blues music, pottery, spirited Sims, piano, guitar, complaints, artsy Sims, singing, singer-songwriter music, compliments, jazz music, discussing hobbies, Baroque music, and pop music. They do not like gardening, bowling, pipe organ, arguments, country fashion, pessimistic Sims, or rocket science. Moving to Nihus, who is also currently not in the world. Corey Nihus goes with the flow, loving each day as it comes, serving drinks from behind the counter. He watches as people flirt and new passions bloom. He wonders if one day he too might find somebody to love. And now I've got the song from Queen in my head. So let's take a closer look at Corey. Corey uses he, him pronouns. He is a young adult. He is got the public enemy aspiration, which gives him the dastardly trait. He's also romantic and a loner, and has a lot of likes and dislikes. Wow, he is very well fleshed out. He is masculine frame, masculine clothing preference. He is able to get people pregnant. He cannot produce milk, and he can use the toilet standing, so he's a cis male sim. He is also gay, which is awesome. And he is very one person only. He gets jealous about everything. However, his jealousy triggers are able to change. And of course, with the households that are not currently in the world, sometimes they will show up on their own in the world, but you can go ahead and put them in your Sims world by just moving them into a house if you wish to do so. The next household that we're going to look at is the Hoffmans. They are currently not in the world. For generations, the Hoffmans' candy stall was a staple for all kids in Nordhaven. Yet with his wife's passing and all his children long moved out, everyone thought that even the tireless Bruno Hoffman would end up selling his business and retire. What Bruno certainly didn't expect was his grandson Felix, of all people, to volunteer to take up the family's candy-making legacy. Life is looking up for this unlikely duo as long as they manage to steer clear of any more feuds with the Lodens. Ooh, so we got some lore there. We know that the Hoffmans and the Lodens are feuding. I wonder what the feud's about. So let's take a look at the Hoffmans. So we got Bruno Hoffman, who is an elder. He has the bodybuilder aspiration. He is a kleptomaniac. He is clumsy and a snob. Let's take a look at his identity. He uses he/him pronouns, prefers masculine clothing, has a masculine frame, cannot get others pregnant, he cannot produce milk, and he can use the toilet standing. He is pansexual, does not feel jealous if his partner engages in non-physical romance with others. He does feel jealous if a romantic partner engages in physical romance with others. He gets jealous if any romantic partner engages in woohoo, and his jealousy triggers can change. He has quite a few likes and dislikes. He likes gossip, mischief, spirited sims, cooking, jokes, emotional decision makers, discussing hobbies, and so on. He does not like complaints, small talk, DJ mixing, nectar making, shabby decor, or polished fashion. Let's take a look at his grandson, Alex. Alex Hoffman goes by he/him pronouns. He is a young adult. Masculine frame, masculine clothing preference. He can get others pregnant. He cannot produce milk. He can use the toilet standing, so he's cis male. He is pansexual. Yes is ticked on all of the romantic boundary choices. He is a bodybuilder like his grandfather. He hates children, he is a foodie, and he loves the outdoors. He also is really well fleshed out with his likes and dislikes, which is very nice to see. Continue with the Nordhaven families, we have Loden Household. Now, I'm moving to the Loden Household because the Hoffmans have a bit of a feud with the Lodens, and I'm very curious to see what this feud is all about. So the Loden household is a 5-sim household. It says, since Gamelvik's founding, there's always been a coffee boon cafe, and it's always had the Lodens behind it. When it was her turn to run the business, Nora stepped in happily. But who will step in after her? Nora's daughter, Freya, never had much interest in inheriting the cafe, much preferring her deep love for dancing. Meanwhile, the younger son, Eric, shows a lot more aptitude for crafting with clays and paints than he does business. Now Nora's feeling pressure to not disappoint the legacy of her late father and the many Lodens before him, even despite reassurances from her mama, Hattie. Thankfully, she has her wife, Dahlia, there to support her and provide an escape or two through her critically acclaimed titillating romance novels. It doesn't say anything about what the family feud between the Lodens and the other family is. I'm guessing we might find out during gameplay. So let's take a look at these Sims. We have Dahlia Loden. Dahlia uses she/her pronouns. She is an adult. She has the best-selling author aspiration. She is good, a bookworm, and loyal. The Sims team have really fleshed her out like all the others. She has a lot of likes and dislikes. And going into her identity choices, she is cisgender, pansexual, and has yes ticked for all of the romantic boundaries. Moving to Nora Loden, who is Dahlia's spouse. Nora got the bodybuilder aspiration. She's neat, outgoing, ambitious, and has a high metabolism. She goes by she, her pronouns. She is cisgender. Her sexual orientation is gay or lesbian. She is only attracted to women and is not exploring romantically. And yes is ticked on all of her romantic boundaries. Then we have Eric Loden, who is Dahlia's and Nora's son. Eric Loden is a child who goes by he, him pronouns. He has the artistic prodigy aspiration. He has dreams of succeeding in the arts. He does not have any dislikes, but he has quite a few likes, and he is creative. Then we've got Grandma Hattie. Grandma Hattie, by the way, is nod back to the herbs. Specifically, I believe the Game Boy Advance had Grandma Hattie in it, and this is the Sims 4 version of her. So Grandma Hattie has she, her pronouns. I'm sorry. She she has the Master Vampire aspiration. Okay. Grandma Hattie wants to become a vampire before she dies. Okay. She's a foodie, family-oriented, and an idealist. Wow, that's a bit of lore there, that Grandma Hattie wants to become a vampire. Wow, okay. She's got lots of likes and dislikes. And let's take a look at her details here, her identity details. She is feminine, she can become pregnant, but she cannot produce milk, and she cannot use the toilet standing. She is only interested in men, so she's heterosexual, and yes is ticked on all of her romantic boundaries. Let's go to Freya, who is Dahlia and Nora's eldest. And Freya Loden has the bodybuilder aspiration. I've noticed a lot of these Sims have bodybuilder aspirations. She is active, she is self-assured, she is a teenager. Her gender options is she can become pregnant, she prefers feminine things, she's got the feminine physical frame, so she is cisgender. Her sexual orientation is, at the moment, pansexual, and yes has been ticked on all of her romantic boundaries. She has a lot of likes and dislikes, which is really nice to see. Part of me wants to play as the Lodens so I can make Grandma Hattie's dream come true of becoming a vampire. We have the Koopmans. For decades, the beautifully fired ceramics of the Koopman family have been a staple in Nordhaven. Okay, so the Koopmans, these are the ones who were featured in the trailers for the Businesses and Hobbies pack. When Gert took over the family shop in his youth, he wasn't confident he could run it all on his own. That is until he met Jolanda. It was love at first glaze, and together the Terracotta grew more successful than ever. Yet things can change with time. After so many years of marriage, including a daughter who has moved out to university, Yolanda and Gert are not seen eye to eye as much as they used to. Much of their time is spent apart. While she looks after the main shop, he often handles the stalls at the local markets, where he's been noticed as particularly friendly with some of the clientele, at least according to the gossips. Can this couple reignite their passion, or is this love broken beyond repair? Ooh. So let's take a look at them a little bit closer and create a sim. We have Gert Koopman, who is an elder. He is a friend of the world, which is in the popularity. So friend of the world, Sim wants to make and keep as many friends as they can. He is gregarious, clumsy, romantic, and self-assured. He's well fleshed out. He has quite a few likes and dislikes. He's able to get others pregnant, so he is a cis male, masculine frame, masculine clothing preference, can get people pregnant, can produce milk, and can use the toilet standing. Sexual orientation, he is pansexual. Romantic boundaries, he has been ticked yes for everything. Taking a look at his wife, Gert. Gert has the painter extraordinaire aspiration, which is a creative aspiration. And it's the Sim wants her life to be all about art and painting. She is a muser. That is the bonus trait for the painter extraordinaire aspiration. She is an art lover, a goofball, and a perfectionist. She has more dislikes than likes, interestingly. She likes cross-stitch, animus comedy, writing, pottery, and baking, and dislikes a lot of things, which I'm not going to go over at this point in time. Looking at her identity, she is an elder. And I know you all can't see the identity, but you're because of my camera, but you'll just have to trust me. She is cisgender. She, her pronouns. She is romantically attracted to men, but interested in woohoo with both men and women. And her romantic boundaries are ticked yes to everything. Okay, let's move on to the urban house sharers. When Cannonball moved to Nordhaven, he first made his coin performing at the Rouge Note. Locals loved his music, and it wasn't long before he set his sights on buying the venue and fulfilling the old dream of running his own jazz lounge. Alas, he was still a few coins short. A new opportunity came around when Cannonball met Crispin. In his own youth, had spent a little too much on postmodern art sculptures, but was now looking to save some simoleons for his adopted kid Ollie. Before long, they all moved in together and have been splitting the bills since. Now, yes, Crispin can sometimes be too pompous, and sure, Cannonball can't afford the lounge quite just yet, but our dreamer has really found his groove in this new city, and as a man who's never had a chance to be a father, he's grown quite fond of having Ollie in his life. So let's check out these Sims and create a Sim. Alright, let's start off with Cannonball Coleman. Cannonball Coleman is an elder, uses he, him pronouns. He has the Master Mixologist aspiration, which gives him the essence of flavor bonus trait. He is good, outgoing, and a music lover. And I believe he was also semi-featured in some of the trailers for this new pack. A lot of likes and a few dislikes. Let's take a look at his identity options here. He is a cis male, heterosexual, only interested in women, and romantic boundaries. So he does not feel jealous if his romantic partner engages in non-physical romance with others. He does not feel jealous if his romantic partner engages in physical romance, excluding woohoo with others. He does not feel jealous if a romantic partner engages in woohoo with other Sims. Wow, okay, so he's poly. Interesting. And his jealousy triggers can change. Okay. Moving on to Crispin Black. Crispin Black uses he, him pronouns. He has the new esteemed entrepreneur aspiration. This is a popularity aspiration. It says that the Sim wants to run a small business full of happy customers, either through business practices rooted in idealistic dreams or tricky hustles based on pragmatic schemes. Okay. The esteemed entrepreneur aspiration gives him the gregarious bonus trait. He is also a perfectionist. He's shady, which is a new trait. These Sims excel at exploiting situations and bending rules for personal gain, often without regard for conventional ethics or fairness. They thrive in mischievous activities and can influence others to adopt their way of living. And he's also hot-headed. Going into his identity, he is an adult. He is cisgender. He is romantically attracted to men and women, but he is asexual and he's not interested in woohoo at all. Romantic boundaries, yes, is ticked on everything. Now let's take a look at Ollie Mark, who is Crispin Black's adoptive son. I love Ollie. This is definitely an interesting Sim. So Ollie Mark uses they, them pronouns. Their aspiration is nerd brain, which is a knowledge aspiration. Their bonus trait is quick learner. They are a geek and a genius. They're a teenager. Let's look at their identity options here. They have a masculine physical frame. They prefer masculine clothing. They can get others pregnant, they cannot produce milk, and they can use the toilet standing. So they are assigned male at birth, non-binary Sim. Sexual orientation is pansexual. Romantic boundaries, they do not feel jealous if a partner engages in non-sexual romance with others. Yes is ticked to physical romance and woohoo / mess around. Their jealousy triggers cannot change. And they have quite a few likes as well as dislikes. And finally, we have the Sarpong household. After years of apprenticeship with a pair of underground tattoo artists, Nia moved back to Nordhaven to pursue the dream of opening her own tattoo studio in the city where she grew up. But on top of the new set of skills and business ambitions, she also came back with a child. Her daughter, Lorato, was just as thrilled to move to a new place, hoping to get the highest room and be even closer to the constellations she loves studying. This is the beginning of a new chapter in Nia's life as she begins to wonder what will be more challenging, being a single parent or starting her own business. And let's take a look at the Sarpong household in Create a Sim. We'll start with Lorato Sarpong, who is Nia's child. Lorato does not have pronouns, so we will use they them pronouns since we don't know yet. They have the child aspiration playtime captain, and they are a geek. They are a child, of course, and that is all that we know about Lorato. Let's move to Nia, who is an adult. She, her pronouns. I absolutely love that outfit. Nia's aspiration is neighborhood confidant. She's got the bonus gregarious trait. She is creative, a perfectionist, and family-oriented. She is cisgender, heterosexual, only interested in romance and woohoo with men, and yes is ticked on all of her romantic boundaries. She has a lot of likes and dislikes. Okay, so that's all of the known lore for the households. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lots and see if there's any extra lore there. Iverstad, we have the Lighthouse Lookout. It says this lot is perfect for any sim looking for a stunning garden and a beautiful seaside view, and doesn't mind waking up to the bright lamp of Iverstad's lighthouse. Inked Inlet says that it's nestled right in front of Iverstad markets. It's a great spot for any sim looking to expand their social circle and business network. Just be careful to not fall in the canals if you're riding a bike. I wonder if you could actually fall into the canals if you're riding a bike. The information for the New Harbor Park says there was once a city plan for the screen plot to house a new business. Nobody knows exactly what it was going to be. The project fell through, leaving not much more than an empty shell of a building. Yet the locals still hope that an ambitious entrepreneur might one day turn it into something. Then moving over to the lots at Gamelvik, we have a museum, the Konst Modern. Following popular community vote, the old museum of Gamelvik was renovated into a state-of-the-art contemporary facility with a new modern wing equipped with workstations for the community to learn pottery, painting, and woodworking, hereby presenting the new Konst Modern. It's got 2 lot traits. It's got great view and natural light. The Rouge Note is the go-to place for all the cool cats in Nordhaven to enjoy themselves after a long day of hard work. Savor the smooth music, let the sultry vibes in, dream of what the night could bring. We have the Old Torget House, which is one of the lots that you can move a sim onto. It's a starter home. After years of disuse, this old classic building has been recently refurbished and is finally back on the market. Based in one of the oldest squares in Gamelvik, it's a dreamy little house for anyone wishing to immerse themselves in the culture of this historic neighborhood. Then we've got 2 blank lots. Fisher's Horizon. Once an old market for Nordhaven's fishermen, this lot has been repurposed for new developments. Sims who love the morning sea breeze and watching the boats go by will find themselves at home here. And then comfortably Canal Side. In the heart of the old residential quarter and well positioned for a good view of the ancient town walls, this lot is perfect for any history buff. Build a new home or business on this Canal Side lot and add your own chapter to the city's long-running history. So not a lot of lore there, but a little bit of backstory that just adds to the charm and description of the neighborhood, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at the build buy items now, see what we can find over there as far as lore is concerned. So for those of you who didn't know, in The Sims 4, the devs love putting little stories, poems, limericks, lore, sometimes hints as to future packs, in descriptions of the build buy items. So looking at businesses and hobbies, I'm not going to go over everything in Build By. I'm just going to show you some of the descriptions of what I think might hold some lore or interesting tidbits here. Now, I know that most of these descriptions are made by Molly over on the Sims team, and let me just tell you, Molly is so good. I absolutely love reading the descriptions that she makes. It's sometimes she just tells major stories, and it's so cool. This is interesting, at least I'm finding this interesting. They have this thing called the Ingenious Ingvar Creators Showcase. Your friend Ingenious Ingvar has not forgotten the importance of the everyday artist, whether you made it yourself or conveniently found it. This surface is perfect for mounting paintings, pottery, photos, or other handmade and hand-collected objects. This allows Sims to sell wall-hanging crafts and collectibles as part of a small business. But it's interesting about the Ingenious Ingvar because they're framing that as being a person, and I have no idea who that is. But there's a little bit of lore, or possible lore, that's been included in this pack. So if there has been a sim in any of the Sims games called Ingenious Ingvar, please let me know below because I would love to find out. I've done a quick search and I can't find anything, but it's still interesting. There's also a bathtub called Roar's Tub. And it says, work those pipes, fill the tub, and enjoy yourself. Maybe let out a roar. Roar would be proud. Don't know who Roar is. But again, it sounds like a little bit of maybe a person that is in the lore history of The Sims. There's the ribbon mic. It is named, and it is called Mikro's ribbon mic. Again, we don't know who Mikro is or was. And I love the fact that the Sims are naming, or that the Sims team is naming different things as though they used to belong to someone. If there is lore here, if Mikro is a historic, lore Sim, or historic Sim in the Sims lore, I would love to know more about it. There is a lot of references to jazz in this pack. That doesn't surprise me. Okay, so here is the specialty coffee bar. And the description ties into some of the DLC that we've gotten in the past. So it says, can you smell it? It's a finely toasted coffee blend with beans from Selva Dorada, Pomerang, and San Sequoia, freshly ground and prepared just for you. I love that they're mentioning previous packs. Seriously awesome. So we have the Mild Maxels decals in color black and white. And these are named after Mild Maxel. The descriptions say, Mild Maxel made his name on simple designs. He's no stranger to using color when appropriate. Maxel understands when it's time for fun and when it's time to get serious. Are you a serious small business owner? Do you eschew color and stick to the shadows? Consider then these white decals from Mild Maxel. Classy, subtle, to give the suggestion of a small business without the crassness of those other. These are made to go on the Mild Maxel's swiveled sign, micro marquee, and mini marquee. The swiveled sign says that it celebrates Mild Maxel's favorite mathematical word, perpendicular. The micro marquee says that it adheres to Mild Maxel's core KISS principle, which means keep it smaller sign. And Mild Maxel's mini marquee is celebrated for his elegant design and marquee designs and loved for his calm personality. Mild Maxel's mini marquee is the perfect way to show the customer what your small business is all about. We have the Gamelvik and Ivestad town boards, and what they do is basically allow you to see what kind of gatherings are happening and the opening times for the various shops that are in the neighborhoods. If you order the pack before mid-April, then you get 3 different things, and one of them is this statue, is called the Priscilla statue. It says Priscilla is the ultimate rock star. We have the patterned rug by Local Arts, and it says that it's made from locally bred Nordic sheep wool. And we know that if you have the ranch pack, we have miniature goats and miniature sheep. So if you have that pack, along with businesses and hobbies, you could, if you wanted to, create your own Nordic goat farm or Nordic sheep farm. Now, this isn't exactly lore, but we do have the gallery wall here, the Best Bits gallery wall. And the description doesn't have any lore. However, one of the swatches, to me anyway, alludes to the Life and Death pack or Grimm, because we've got a raven on a skull and a skeletal hand holding what looks to be a death flower, as well as the death head moth here. Again, not exactly lore, but I absolutely love this painting swatch here of the frame form jazz. That is just absolutely beautiful. We have a named item called King Cool's framed saxophone. No lore attached other than that. Now, we have all of these interesting works of art here, which you may recognize or partially recognize, because each of these are variants of different pieces of art that's already in the base game and other packs. There's more, but this is all I can fit on the wall for now, but we'll go through these and then I'll show you the rest. All of these are made by someone called Trashley. And you notice each one of them have little paw prints in lieu of a signature. This one, which is a stylish baby dino nursery art, says, "Scientists do not know what dinosaurs really look like. Dino probably have more fun with outfits like certain successful small business owner." And then we have the Looking for Arms statue that is basically half of a mannequin that's missing its arms, and googly eyes have been placed on the face. And it says, "Artist friend teach Trashley about upcycling, so I take sculpture that is okay, but also missing many important parts for being a person and upcycle with wiggly eyes from garbage. Trashley and Sculpture Lady both still looking for arms. For sculpture. Arms for sculpture. Trashley has perfectly fine arms, all 2 of them. The gleeful clown instead of the sad clown. The gleeful clown, honk honk clown, much like Goose Friends. Trashley would definitely keep, but walls have no more space. Very big shame." Now, I don't know if this summons a clown, just like the sad clown portrait does. If you know, let me know in the comments. This one here is called Flower Friends. 3 flowers in sun. Trashley is sunglasses one. Popular and fun. Then we have this film poster called Cop and Mr. Llama. Sure could use a good buddy cop series right now. I mean, I could use a buddy, period. Trashley overhears sad man on late night break from business. His name is silly, but Trashley appreciate mustache. Now Trashley sometimes visit friend in Ravenwood to discuss show. It is good, but original llama need a little pizzazz. So they put a mustache on the llama, because, you know, why not? We have the This Is Mini Pears painting. Trashley does not understand why some painting names lie. It is not even a good lie. You can see pear in picture with your own eyes. The Fancy Chicken painting. Honestly, Trashley really proud of this one. And Critters Field. Whoever says critters cannot make art did not ask nicely. Critters can make very nice art. Trashley asked friends to make this beautiful painting. The Study of Form. Figure drawing class always the same and never include animal friends. Teacher say critter models move too much for beginner. Trashley disagree, but respect teacher opinion and just use imagination instead. The Normal Antique Portrait. No one knows who this is, but pretty and handsome, yes? Raccoon in Boxes, Andy Warhol version, and we do have something similar already in the game, but they're not raccoons. And the raccoons definitely improve upon the painting, in my opinion. Raccoon much better than Sloth. I mean, Sloth not bad, but Raccoon never invade Princess Cordelia's home. And Critter Blues. Princess Cordelia sad when music friends do not fit on submersible. If Princess had Critter Musician, Minnie could fit inside. More of Trashley's paintings. There are a lot of Trashley paintings that you can get with this pack. We've got art in mini boxes. You get 6 pictures for price of 1 and make your wall look stylish. Very good deal. Princess Cordelia is fan of jazz, so Trashley likes jazz too. Trashley actually make friend listening to jazz by Fence Lichen Painting. Smeggy is not princess and a little strange, but still good friend. Great dancer too. And Portrait of Friends. These two are pretty stylish. Yes, Trashley prefer mystery and sensible coat with mini pockets, but not everyone as practical. Related to Trashley, we have these windows. Whispers in the fog. Every day I wait, patiently looking for that cloaked figure. They appear to move without purpose or cause. What mysteries are they unraveling? Why is their hat cocked just so? Their cloak buttoned just high. Then there's the silent alibi. I track them with my eyes. They dart in and out of shops. Idle talk here, extended gaze there. Tufts of fur peeking out. A clue? Was it placed intentionally? I cannot discern. And the final window is called the Shattered Veil. The longer I watch, the more apparent it becomes. How could I have been so blind before? Chittering and scheming, I see now. I see through them all, your secrets no longer disguised. So they are 100% referring to Trashley, a real person. But who exactly is Trashley? And why are they in a trench coat? For that, my friends, you're gonna have to play the pack, or watch someone play the pack. Which reminds me, if you'd like to watch me play this pack, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. I always like to look at the debug items, just to see if what there is available, because sometimes they hide some nice plants or something, or decorative items in Debug. But today, like I said, we're looking for lore, so let's see if we can find any lore in Debug. There's a book called And They Were Kiln Mates by Dahlia Loden, who we know is, the Lodens are one of the households in this pack. It says, Lauren's overwhelmed as she walks into her pottery class and learns her crush, Kimmel, not only attends the same class, but they have to share a kiln. Will Lauren confess her love, or will the fiery passion of the kiln burn them both? There's another book by Dahlia Loden called Bleeding Thorns. An unlikely trio, a sim, a plant sim, and a vampire, need to work together to escape the clutches of the King's Guard and survive. Of course, it's the most dire situations we find our truest desires will come to light. And Hey Babe by Dahlia Loden. When Noah bumped into Matt on a coffee run, the last thing either expected was to find endearing friendship and a whirlwind romance. Will the pairing grow to make a home for themselves in Nordhaven, or will their bond be as fleeting as it began? I really love how they put Dahlia Loden's books in the pack. That's such a really nice touch. Then we've got another collection, and these are bike parts that you can find by fishing in the canals in Nordhaven. And by finding the entire collection, you get a bicycle voucher that gives you a brand new Cykel Dream Drifter bike. And there is quite a bit of lore attached to Britta Cykel, who is the creator of the Cykel bikes in Nordhaven. We have a bunch of different frames that you can find. There's old, rusty frames, as well as bright, shiny, new frames. The new, shiny frames are all variants of the old, rusty ones. And the idea of the collection, from what I've learned, is you fish up bike parts and you can fix them up and they turn into one of the variants here. So if we go ahead and read all of the lore attached to these frames, we have the Anna Cykel frame. Britta would sit near the Gammelvik gazebo quite often and contemplate things. She was tickled by the public art there, and she called the piece near the gazebo the pistachio, so much that most of us ended up calling it Britta's pistachio. I heard that irked the artist quite a bit. Sophie Cykel frame. Did Britta Cykel sit and model for my mermaid sculpture? I don't think that's my story to tell. I was riding the ferry one day and muttering about the graffiti that was ruining our beautiful town, and Britta reminded me that beauty relied on the continuing creativity bursting forth from all of us. What a strange and unique way she had of looking at the world. Martin. I remember how intently Grandma Britta would look at a broken bike. She saw the potential of anything, even something that others would discard or trash. In her hands, it would become the foundation of something new. Marie. Grandma was the best bike lady and also gave me cotton candy. I miss her. Emma. Miss Cykel loved bringing the family onto the Nordhaven ferry. I worked as a guide and she would ask questions about all the buildings while Lars looked after little Matilda and baby Sarah. Henrik. I was coming back from my Nordhaven vacation and was seated next to Miss Cykel on the train. She seemed nervous but excited and filled the entire time telling me stories about Gammelvik. It made me want to schedule another visit right away. Peter. After she retired from working full-time on bikes, Britta was still an active member of the community, often coming to the various meetups and trying out a new hobby or two. Ida. The thing about Britta is she never saw herself as belonging to anyone but herself. So yes, she did love Lars and Maria and others, but they were just a part of the grand love that she put out into the world every day. Lena. I crossed paths with Britta Cykel when we came to give a talk on bicycles at Brychester. She was so passionate, it made me jealous. I wanted to have something, anything in my life that I cared about that much. Anne. Mother would often tell me that getting on a bike wasn't about trying to arrive somewhere, but about the experience of going there. She wanted to enjoy every moment of the going. Matilda. Britta had a few tattoos, but I've been sworn to secrecy, so I can't tell you what they were, and I certainly can't tell you where they were. Nia. Miss Cykel would always fix up my bike for free. All she wanted in exchange was a grand story about the adventure I'd taken it on to get into that rough condition. Hans. As a child, I used to walk by the cycle bike shop as I made my way home from school, but my family could never afford a bicycle for myself. I must have told Miss Cykel this one day because a week later, a sturdy fixed-up bike appeared outside my doorway with a note that simply read, Christina's bike. Christina. Everyone knows that having a cycle means you care about having the best. Britta was an absolute master of construction, and she knew her way around frames, wheels, and chains like no one else. Eric. You wouldn't know it looking at her, but Britta could be quite the rebel. I remember sometime after she returned from her trip to Brychester, she camped for a week in front of the Gammelvik Historic Building to push for more bike lanes. Matthias. I apprenticed under Britta for a while and learned how to take a bike apart and make it shine. But once she was gone, it wasn't the same, so we closed up the shop. Still, her spirit lives on in every bike you see in Nordhaven. Ingrid. I would ask Britta from time to time whether she loved me or her bicycles more, and she would always tell me that her heart was big enough for everything and everyone. It made me want to learn to grow my heart in just such a way. Lars. Then we have all of the wheels in the collection, and again, each wheel has a bit of lore about Britta. And there are 10 total wheels that you can find. 5 rusty and 5 clean. One moonless night, Britta somehow convinced me to go skinny dipping in the Gammelvik canals. It was exhilarating and terrifying, but it seemed like just another night for her. I can't imagine what her life must have been like. Carl. Writing about Britta Cykel is both easy and hard because everyone in Nordhaven who knew her has a story to tell, but hard because aside from her sister Lena, there's very little anyone knows about her before she arrived here. Mikhail. After Mum and Aunt Matilda had their own families and moved out, Grandma moved to Iverstad and we saw her less, but she still had her big holiday party every year. I loved going to that. Suzanne. Grandma never married Grandpa. She always said that our love is what ties us together, not the law. I still plan to get married one day, but she was one of a kind. Jan. Often when I came by the bike shop, I'd find Miss Cykel spinning a wheel and just watching it rotate. Whenever I was having a bad day, she'd say life was like a bike wheel. You're never down long, you can't count on staying on top either. Jonas. There was a 2-week period after Britta's 40th birthday where she disappeared. No one knew where she went, not Lars or her children or her friend Maria, and then pop, she was back, but refused to say a word. Camilla. When I got scared, I would ask Britta what I was to her. She would take a breath and tell me that we were 2 entwined souls that had the good fortune to overlap at this singular moment in time and this wonderful place we called home. Maria. Of course, we were taught to ride as soon as we could pedal. I remember one time taking a turn too quickly and ending up in the canal. I can still hear the laughs from my sister Matilda. Sarah. When I interviewed Britta Cykel at the end of her career, she didn't like being known as a renowned bicycle maker. She preferred to be remembered for the many friendships she forged. Miss Cykel is a fine woman who has done much to bring pride and joy to Nordhaven, but the piece is called Mother and Child. It's not Britta's pistachio. Please stop calling it that, Johan. And that, my friends, is all of the description lore that I can find in Build By, Households, and on the map. If there's any that I have missed, please let me know in the comments. And Hopefully, I will get a gameplay lore video for you out soon. But until then, happy simming.